Shalom, this is Sophia, the American Mariam, and this is your AstroTarotGraphy Tree of Life. This is the roots of the tree. So, the way that this part of your reading works is that this is the placements that were on your chart that you have to climb through in order to get to in order to deal with your shadow self. So this is the roots of your shadow, right? The roots of what holds you to this planet. The things that you have to acknowledge and you have to deal with in order to actually get through the trials and the tribulations that this life has for you. And this is juxtaposed to the fruits of the tree, which is going to be in a separate reading. Okay, so the first thing you have to deal with, let's start from the bottom with 9. And we'll go from 9 to 5. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. Okay, so in the 5 is what's going to connect us to the fruits of the tree. So the first card you have on the tree, on your tree, is the World card. And so the World card is culmination, perfection, the end of one cycle and the beginning of another cycle. So this is the start of a new cycle. This indicates to me that you're not carrying a great deal of karmic debt. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a lot of karma that you have to address from previous cycles. We're going directly into a new cycle. And the good thing about that is that you, in dealing with your karma, the sooner you deal with your karma, the sooner you can start a new cycle. And you have infinite abilities to just start a new cycle. You don't have to, go back and deal with a bunch of crap from your past once you deal with your karma. Because your very first planet says that, hey, I'm coming here and I'm 10 toes down by myself. So I don't have all of this, ancestral crap that you're carrying around once you deal with your karma, which again, I have the karma cleanse and, there's other ways of dealing with it. So your next card is the Moon. So the next step, we're going to look at this as steps. So once you have cleared your cycle and you have accepted that you're starting a new cycle, right? Then you have the Moon, which is 2 of Swords. And the 2 of Swords upright is indecision, solution to difficulties. So you will have a lot of difficulties early in life. And these difficulties will make you feel like you're blinded. But the reason that you're blinded is because it's the start of a new cycle. You don't need all of these influences from previous cycles guiding you. This is like almost like a protection mechanism. So you are able to protect yourself from the previous cycles by, the fact that you can start a new cycle at any choice, at any time. You don't have to, finish a whole lifetime to start a new cycle. You just start a new cycle and you start over. But people who are carrying much heavier karmic loads, they don't have the ability to just start these new cycles over. They have a much heavier amount of stuff that they have to deal with first. So your next step is going to be Venus, which is in Aries. And so your Venus is your 3 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands is offspring, happiness, gratitude. So this is the first point where you see that your family is important. But the way this man is facing, he's got his back to this 2 of Swords. So you, again, do not have to carry the burden of this, 2 of Swords energy, because once you get into your family energy, your happiness energy, your gratitude energy, this 2 of Swords energy is lessened. The impact is less, and you don't have to quite deal with that as much because he's got his back to it. You can just continue to move forward. So if I'm climbing this tree, the sooner you can get over this trauma from this Two of Swords energy, the faster you can get into your happiness and your offspring, your family joy energy. Your next placement is Mercury, which is in Taurus. I don't keep saying Taurus, which is in Taurus, which is the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is victory, hope, and defense. So not only do you have your back turned to this Two of Swords energy, this indecision energy, you have a defense set up. So it's like as you move through this, once you master this Three of Wands energy, which is happiness, gratitude, and family, then you'll always have a point of defense. You won't have to go back into that indecision energy. That is your actual point of defense. And just to emphasize that, you have the Eight of Wands, which is your sun energy. That's the next planet, and that is travel, movement, and communication. So just to emphasize that you have this protection, you go right into another layer of wands that protects you from this very sort of toxic Two of Swords energy that could continue to come back up. This indecision, the problems, you have another layer of defense. And you need those 3 layers of defense because your next placement is your happy family, your Ten of Cups energy. And of course, the Ten of Cups energy is love, satisfaction, and harmony. So you have all of these wands protecting you once you get to this Jupiter energy, this happiness, this happy family, sort of a happy ending, a happy point energy. And you need that because your next step is going to be this Nine of Swords energy, which the Nine of Swords is stress, anxiety, and hopelessness. So, and that's your Mars placement. But to solidify that, you have that right across juxtaposed to your part of fortune energy, which is in strength. So because that Mars energy is so heavy, you have a heavier energy, which is the inner strength to sort of protect that. So even though you have this happy family energy with the Jupiter, right next to this Mars energy of this stress and anxiety, you have the inner strength within you to sort of protect you from staying in that energy too long. Once you come out of that energy, you're not going to be forced to go back to it, because the strength card, being a face card, is obviously much stronger than a Nine of Swords, which is a face card, right? Or a pip, I guess is what they call it. So your next card is Saturn, and that is in Aries, and that's the Four of Wands, which is peace, happiness, and harmony. So even though you have these two difficult swords placements of the Nine of Swords and the Two of Swords, once you're able to master those two more difficult placements, you get into this Four of Wands energy, which is happiness and harmony. And if you can hold this happiness and harmony as your energy, when you get to the top of the tree, which is the Ten of Cups in reverse, and that energy is feeling neglected, poor timing, short-sighted dreams, it's not going to affect you as much. It will be something you have to overcome, but because you've taken this path of learning how to deal with these more difficult energies with strength, with like the Three of Wands protection, with this, surrounding it and not letting it infect the rest of your planet. See, because I think some people in their tree, they will let they can't even get past this moon energy, because if they have a difficult placement like this, they just get stuck right there of the indecision. They can never make a decision. They go round and round and round in circles, and they never make a decision. And if they do make a decision, when they have a great deal of protection, they have their happy family and their joy, then they get stuck with this Nine of Swords energy, which is another much more difficult energy to deal with, because of the stress and the anxiety and the unhappiness that comes along with it. But if you're able to use your inner strength, remind yourself of how you've gotten through these situations in the past, and who has done it. I mean, all these placements, these are placements from the Most High that He gave you to be able to handle these more challenging aspects of the Nine of Swords and the Two of Swords. And so, if you remember that inner strength that comes from inside of you, and also this World card energy, which says that you can start a new cycle every time, you'll always be able to get back into this Four of Wands energy. And so this Ten of Cups energy in reverse is not going to stress you out as much, because you already have a strong foundation dealing with stress. And so what I notice is that as you climb this tree, the difficulties that come up are only so that when you get to the top of the tree and you have this major difficulty with your family, you are prepared to deal with it, because you have had smaller amounts of this sort of energy all the way up to this point. And so you feel protected, you feel your strength, you know your strength, and you know how it operates, and you're able to successfully navigate any sort of troubles that come your way. So in the next part of this reading, we're going to look at the fruits of the tree, and the fruits of the tree is going to tell us what your path is for this specific year that we're in, starting with your birthday, right? Because on the tree starts when the seed is planted, just like Yeshua was gestated on Christmas. That's when this thing starts. The clock starts from that point. And so that's how the roots of this tree work. And so we'll see you in the next video for your current progression, and see what is potentially ahead for you for this year. So, Shalom.